Okay, so hello. Today, I waited a little late to actually start recording, but anyways, just because it's nighttime doesn't mean I can't record. So today I am doing. How many times can I say today? No, that's not the video. Today I'm doing a tier list of these guys. So it's. I don't actually want to rank them based off of how much I like or dislike them. I mostly want to rank them off of how difficult they are, right? Get these two down here, just because they're not that difficult. I mean, they can be difficult, but they're not the focus, right? They really aren't the focus, and you know what? Get all of these out of the way except for Sage. Sage and Colossus are like the same difficulty, and I'll put Sage above. I just don't want to. I don't want to put that much time into these because none of them really matter that much. I mean, Sage. I'll explain Sage. Colossus doesn't really do much, but Sage does reduce things. It reduces status, which is actually a pretty big deal. But other than that, it's Sage Slayer is not that big of a deal. That's really so. Basically, I'm ranking these on too difficult, and this kind of stems from me. Uh, this kind of stems from me reacting to that one guy's tier list, Sylvanas' husband. This kind of stems from me uh, noticing that his ranking on the difficulty of traits is actually kind of just fucked. Like it's really weird how like people will rank like how important a certain trait is, because like he put zombies under reds, whenever I think zombies should at the very least be at the same as, you know, Sage. Meanwhile, red should be all the way down at easy, you know what I mean? And so like honestly, I think Colossus is going to be the only one in not much, just because everything else is at the very least mid, other than red and Colossus, and of course these. Base trait is kind of weird, but it's there. But yeah, red's really easy, really power crept, obviously. Zombies is power crept by quite a lot, but only because of Shigong and Housewife. Other than that, there's not. I mean, I guess Cadaver Bear Cat as well, but that's really it. There's not a lot. Like it's power crept, but it's not power crept by a lot. The only thing I didn't mention was Holy Blast, and that's a cannon, so it's inconsistent. It requires you to upgrade it, which not a lot of people do, or maybe more people than I think. But you know, upgrading it all the way, it's really expensive and takes a lot of time. So some people don't do it, some people do it. It's kind of just like it's inconsistent, but it also doesn't solo every zombie stage, you know, especially in mixed stages. It's kind of hard to take care of zombies in mixed stages. Having a good generalist with zombie killer, pretty rare actually. But so yeah, and then traitless. I mean, obviously these are exaggerated. The titles of the rankings are a little exaggerated, but traitless is probably one of the hardest traits to actually counter, especially without Ubers. And so if you value them without Ubers, I think traitless is by far the hardest, just because you're not given a lot. You're not given a lot, first of all, and that's fine. And second of all, do you guys like my playlist? Do I have ADHD? I don't know, but yeah, traitless is difficult. You know, early game and late game, it's difficult without Ubers. You kind of have to rely on Ubers in order to have a good anti-traitless up until you get Gigando, but even then he's not that great. And then you get Hitman, and then Haniwa paired with Hitman. They kind of do well, but in mixed stages they kind of suffer. So it's just like traitless. There's just really no telling just how valuable an anti-traitless Uber is, especially a good one. And then floating, I think floating is actually like it's actually up there. Like surprisingly, like it's kind of like zombies where yes, it is kind of power crept, but not by a lot. And except floating doesn't have the equivalent of the holy cannon, and it also kind of its counters like none of them are as good as the zombie counters, because the zombie counters, Shigong and Housewife, are both really good generally as well. Like, maybe not so much Qigong, but Housewave is really good generally. Meanwhile, Floating has Bubble, who is really hard to obtain and really, really frail. Arguably better than Housewife, but honestly, thanks to Housewife being able to have plus levels, I think Housewife is definitely better. Especially with Savage Blow. And Zombie Killer on top of that, remember. So like that's just generalist ability on top of being an anti-zombie. Meanwhile, with floating, you kind of have to sacrifice your generalist damagers for anti-floating, because like Octo can suffer in mixed stages, Fishman suffers from anything with range and quick attack speed or something. Cameraman suffers as soon as you beat SOL. You know, like there's really not a lot of good anti-floating in the game. At least not with at least under Ubers. Obviously, there's a lot of Ubers and legendaries that can just carry you through everything. I'm not valuing that, because if I were to value it on, oh, you know, there's KG for anti-black and Yukimura, therefore black is easy, then that would be kind of unfair, because, you know, that would be unfair. So basically, how you should look at this is that this is basically my ranking on how valuable an Uber is to have. If you were to have one Uber, how valuable would it be for that Uber to target this trait, right? That's kind of what you know this is talking about. And so, and then there's metal, which honestly probably goes into not much, because as hard as some people say it is, it's really not that hard to just put a few anti-metals and critters in your lineup, especially since like metals just aren't that threatening. I mean, I think I'll put black. I think I'll do this. I think this is what I'll do. And then I will put it in order of like which one, like the easiest is all the way on the right. So this is what I'll have it be like. You know, I may just take these out, because you don't really see them in the game, so they don't really have an effect. Angel is honestly probably about as bad as zombies. Like, they're not bad at all. I think they're, you know, angels are probably harder than metals, but easier than zombies to counter, I'd say. And then normal aliens are honestly harder than starred aliens, because starred aliens have all those treasures from Cats of the Cosmos, and aliens don't have as much of a power creep just simply by treasures. So I think that, and aliens can be threatening sometimes, especially if they're really strong, so that's fine. Relic. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Relic in kind of difficult. Yes, Relic does have a lot of counters once you beat UL, but considering you mostly need Relic, anti-relics for UL, it would be kind of difficult to be like, oh, you know, you get the best anti-relics by beating relics. You know what I mean? So I think it still fits in kind of difficult. I feel like without Earl, it would be pretty damn hard, but I think kind of difficult's fitting. Over Alien, 100%. And then Aku, probably, yeah, honestly, up there with Floating, because having a good anti-Aku kind of relies on Ubers, because Cat Researcher can only do so much. Same with Barrel. Both of those can only do so much. Komuso nowadays actually is really nice, and I think that's the reason why it's below Floating rather than above it. Just because of Komuso's existence. Komuso is so good, from what I can tell, that Aku is actually a better target, or a worse target than an anti-floating. I know, crazy, right? Floating is above all of these, even though it's been here since the beginning. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel this way because floating actually doesn't have a lot of good counters. So, and like floating is also really relevant. Like, unlike zombie, floating is actually really relevant, like throughout the entire game. And so it's much more valuable than having an anti-zombie, you know what I mean? And then behemoths, I think behemoths are just too difficult, just because they're stupid. But you know, yeah, I think this is pretty fitting. I think this is a mighty fine tier list. Behemoths were so strong that they literally needed Courier to counter them, which wound up making them even stronger, which wound up just, you know, changing the entire everything. Like, honestly, I would be willing to put Behemoth above Trailus. Honestly, just fuck it. Behemoth is the hardest trait in the game. However, it kind of dies down once you get later into the game, so I'm still gonna put Traitless above Behemoth. But Behemoth still sucks. There's a reason why it's all the way up there. And if you want to know my ranking on like these traits, I'm gonna go ahead and take a screenshot, by the way, for a thumbnail. Hashtag fantabulous. But if you want to know my ranking on how much I like the traits, I mean, I'm kind of neutral about all of them. Like, I think so. Like, let's say I just do like, mid, dislike, and then I just move all these up here, and then I just delete row, delete row, delete row. So I think I'll just put like, I think a lot are gonna be mid, right? Like, I think a lot are gonna be mid. I don't like Colossus. I don't like Behemoth. I don't like that zombies can burrow, but I also like that they're unique. And I'll put dislike just because they're annoying. Sages are kind of just boring. I like black. Metal's kind of mid, but also kind of annoying to go against. Like, it's not hard. It's just annoying. You know what I mean? Aku I like. Relic I like. Floating I like. Yeah, I think this is it. I think that. So like, if you really like, if you want to know my specifics, I guess I can put black all the way at the bottom. I like Aku more than Traitless. You know what? Traitless is in mid. Never mind. And then you all the way over there. Yeah, yeah, you both all the way over there. Yeah, I think this is fitting. I think this is good. I think so. Like, this is organized, so most to least liked. I'm not gonna explain anything because it's all opinion, anyways. But I hate Behemoths because they're just super hard, and I love Akus because they're so different and still so balanced. Smile. If you did enjoy, please do come back for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.